Hello, all my beautiful angels. Happy Friday. It's me, your girl Shyla, back with another video. I hope that you all had an amazing week. Mine was actually really ridiculously good. Better than it normally has been. Definitely better than having electrolysis and getting zapped repeatedly. Before we get going into this video too far, I do want to take a second, have you all like and subscribe, hit the little bell button down below so that way you're notified every time I do a new video. That way I'm not having to constantly send out reminders to people and links to my video, because I am not going to lie, and I've told my girl Winter, I've told my girl Jessie, I've told them, my friends, this, that when I send out my little link to the video and I'm like, hey, I post a new video, I always feel like Uncle Rico on Napoleon Dynamite, and I'm always like, hey, y'all want to watch my video? That's kind of what I feel like every single time I send one of those out. So like and subscribe. Don't forget to go to my Instagram, check that out. I post there every single day, and there will be posts and links that come here, obviously, because that's what I do. Other than that, I'm going to get right into the video. Today's video is not going to be as sexy as other videos. It's going to be kind of quick, but I hope that you guys like it. I have been so busy and worried about and consumed with trying to grow my channel, and which videos I'm posting are getting more views than other videos, and which ones are liked more than others, and what everybody's finding sexy, that one of the topics I did get away from that I wanted to actually make videos about was my transition, and videos that hopefully can help, you know, someone else out. Because I know that when I started my transition, I watched a lot of videos. I was on YouTube watching a lot of videos because you are overwhelmed by everything that's happening to you, all the feelings you're feeling, all the changes you're going through, and you're also consumed with the changes, how they're affecting other people around you. And on top of that, you also have to deal with all the technical aspects. There are a lot of technical aspects that go into completely changing your entire life. Now, keep in mind, all of my experiences that I'm sharing, I am older. I didn't transition until I was 40. It's just how it is. Like I've told some younger people that I've talked to, everybody has the right time to transition for them. There's not really a clock for it. You know, sometimes you have to wait, sometimes the circumstances that won't let you do it, but there is a right time that's best to transition for everyone, and it will happen. So if you're younger and you're trying to get it to go quicker, just be patient. It'll happen. I promise you, it'll happen. And you know what else I have to say to anyone that's older than me is you're never too old to be your true self. Be true to yourself. If you're older, if you're 60 and you want to transition and become a woman, and you've been hiding it your entire life and now you're feeling comfortable, you know, you do you. You just do whatever makes you happy. Don't let age stop you from being your true self. Today's topic I want to talk about is name changes, because this is a big thing. And I kind of want to talk about some of my experiences. I'm going to talk about changing your name, changing your ID, changing your birth certificate, changing your passport. And the happiest thing happened to me this week is I finally got my passport back in the mail. It is all updated. It was one of the last things I really wanted to work on, and I'm so excited because once you get your passport updated, you're free to visit, especially if you do a lot on social media, you're free to visit friends that you make. And I have made so many friends that live in Canada, and I just want to visit them and I want to hang out with them. And I almost feel like I have more friends in Canada than I have here at this point, because I'm down to just a couple, because the ones that I had that I thought were my friends, they've kind of, you'll find this out as you transition. Some people are fake and they pretend to be your friends, and they're not. But we're not going to go into that. That's a story for another transgender topics discussion. Maybe that'll be the title of this, or it'll be the new title. Trans Topics with Shyla. What do you guys think? Let me know. Let me know what you guys think. So, keep in mind, as I go through this, all my perspectives, I live in the United States, I live in Nevada. All my perspectives are from living in the United States, living in Nevada. It could be different in different states, it could be different in different countries, and they're also going to be from being older. So your experiences as you're younger are probably going to be different, but it still might give you some thoughts and ideas on how to proceed with doing things. So I am going to kind of start in order of the way that I did things. The first thing that I did, I changed my name. I've been transitioning for 3 years. For the first 8 months, I only told like 1 or 2 people. I started growing my hair out about 2 months in, and it was really short when it started. It was about finger length short. So I've been working on it for a long time. And in the beginning, I just had this idea that I was just going to stay as myself and not really go through with the transition. But the farther into it I got, the more I realized that there was no stifling this inner person that was inside that I've been fighting my entire life. She was coming out and she was just going to be herself, and I just better fucking deal with it. So around August of that year, I told my work, and then the next 4 months, I wore some makeup to work. I was kind of in a really awkward in-between stage where I was still going by my boy name when I was pretending to be a boy, but I was still wearing makeup, and I'm sure that was super awkward for all the customers that came in there. But I knew the point to where I wanted to start going by who I was the point when I was going to live full-time as a woman. And I knew it was going to be a problem, and it depends. You probably will know, especially if you work, you'll probably know based on where you work and the people that you work with, what kind of support you're going to have. And I knew based on where I was working at the time, I was not going to have good support. I was going to have issues. So when I knew I was going to do this, and I had decided, okay, January 1st, I'm going to start living full-time as Shyla. I'm going to live as Shyla. This is the name I picked out. This is who I am. This is who's inside. This is who I'm going to be. So I went to the owners of where I worked, and I told them about a month ahead of time. I told them about a month ahead of time, hey, just so you know, starting the beginning of next year, I'm living full-time as Shyla. I'm going to live full-time as a girl. I'm going to be changing my name on everything. I'm only going to go by Shyla. I am not going to be answering my boy name. And I think at first they were confused. Like, they're like, okay, you're doing this. Why are you telling us about it? Like, it wasn't going to be happening at work. Like, it was only going to be happening outside in my personal life. But I explained to them, I'm only going to be responding to this. I'm not, there's not going to be this other person anymore. That person is gone. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they basically, oh yeah, he dead. They buried him down the street. He's not here anymore. He's gone. So I started my name change about a month before, legally about a month before, because when you do your name change, you obviously have to get forms based on what state you live in, and they're going to have copies of the forms. They're going to most likely charge you for the forms because there's a packet. You know what? They didn't charge me for the forms. I take that back. Because there's a packet. I printed it online. I filled it all out. You have to make sure you fill it all out correctly with all of your legal name and info. You fill all that shit out, and you take it down there, and they have to post it. It gets posted. I'm pretty sure you have to take it and have it posted in a newspaper. At least I do where I live. You have to have it posted because it has to be like an announcement. That way if anyone has an issue with it, I don't know what for. Maybe you fucking owe people money. Who fucking knows what it is? Maybe they're like, hey, yeah, that person, he owes me fucking money. He ain't changed his fucking name. Or maybe someone's going to come out of the woodwork and be like, hey, I'm married to that fucking person. Anyway, I digress. Whatever the case may be, you have to do your name change. You have to pay for it. You have to pay to have it advertised. You have to do all the payment. It's not super cheap, but it takes about a month and a half worth of process to get all of that done. That is the first step for you to get everything legally changed. First name, middle name, etc., etc., etc. So you'll go down to the courthouse, and you can find info for how to do it and how to fill everything out online. You'll go down to the courthouse. You'll get all that handled. That's the first step. I started that about a month ahead of time before I knew I was going to do it, because I thought it only took a month. I think it took a little longer. I think it took like 5 or 6 weeks. But I knew when I do this that I was going to have issues at work, and they were going to, where I was working at the time, they were going to give me issues about, oh yeah, we can't do that because that's not your legal name. And trust me, even though there are laws in place to protect you from stuff like that, and they legally have to start calling you by the pronouns you identify as and by the name that you are associating with, the name that you are. It doesn't mean that they have to be cooperative about it. They can literally make your life miserable. So I remember getting told that I couldn't do that because it was different on the license that I had for what I was doing, and I was like, yeah, that's not going to work because there's other people that are going by different names than what's on their license. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and change my name. This is what I'm going as. And I expect to be called this and referred to this, especially when talking to customers. Don't be introducing me as a different name. Anyway, I digress. So that was the very first thing I did. As soon as I got that paper back, I took that down to the DMV with some other documentation that I had, because I already had a driver's license, so I didn't need to do my birth certificate. I already had a driver's license, so if you ever have a driver's license, you don't need to update your birth certificate. I took it down there with my driver's license, my legal name change form. I took that down there and updated my driver's license. Now, also, there was another form that I got that I know Nevada DMV has, and I know California DMV has, so I'm sure other DMVs have as well. And it is, and you can find it online on the DMV website, which I'm so glad that I searched before I went down there. There is a form they have that your doctor can fill out. I didn't need it filled out by a psychologist. I just took it to my endocrinologist and he filled it out. And the form basically will let them change your gender markers with the DMV on your driver's license. And it's already pre-printed. All they need to do is fill it out, and it's basically saying that they're treating you as this gender. So I took that down there. I got all of that updated. It took a matter of an hour once I had my documentation, and it was so simple. Everything was done. I took my new driver's license copy the next day, I didn't have a copy, I had a paper, you know, till the stuff comes in the mail. I took that down to the Social Security Department to update my Social Security number with my name, so that way all of that was handled so I wouldn't have any issues at work, because that's where I knew they were going to try to get me. And I couldn't update they would not take the form for the DMV to update that I used for the DMV to update my gender marker, but honestly, it's the Social Security Department. When the fuck do you need to use your gender marker at a Social Security with your Social Security number? Who fucking cares, right? So I didn't even bother with that. So when I updated my name, it's the beginning of the year, and they were like, oh, and they tried to give me grief about it. I was like, oh yeah, well, this is legally my name now, so I expect everything changed. I expect all my shit changed. I expect my insurance changed. I expect my payroll changed. I want everything changed, and I don't want to hear any crap about how you can't do this because it's not my name, because it's all changed. This is legally my name. It's not a nickname. Of course, then they're gonna give you. Then I got to hear some other crap about, you know, if you joked around with people in your job and you guys had nicknames for each other, you'll probably get crap about how you need to use their proper name, because if you start using nicknames for them, it leaves people open to use nicknames for you and not call you what you want to be called. So trust me, even though there's laws to protect you, they can make your life miserable if you work at some place that's unfriendly. Not that that would ever happen to any of us, right? So after I did that, then I wanted to update my passport. So I started work on my birth certificate, and let me tell you what that was like. That was literally like fucking pulling teeth. So I was born in the fine state of California, the fine liberal state of California. So I gathered up all the shit that I needed, and I went on the website to see what I would need, and I called down there to their information desk, and I said to them, because one of the things they ask for to update your birth certificate is a letter, to update the gender, is a letter from your psychiatrist or a doctor stating that you're being treated for gender dysphoria and the gender that you are. I called down there and asked them if they would use the same form the DMV used to update my driver's license, told them my driver's license was already updated with the state, and they said, yes, that's fine, go ahead and do that. So okay, so I put it all together and I put it in the mail. I mailed all that shit down there, and trust me, depending on what state it is, I can't believe how nitpicky California was, because I thought that they were way more open. I get everything came back in the mail. And I had updated my last name from my dad's name to my mom's name like 16 years ago when my son was born, because I wanted him to have her name, because I don't know my dad. And on the documentation to update his last name, it was missing the middle name because it wasn't being changed at that point. But the new documentation for my new name contained all that, and they wanted me to go back to the court and update and amend the documentation from 16 years ago and add my middle name to that document just so they could use that document, which is probably one of the most ridiculous things I have ever heard. In addition to that, they also, even after telling me, would not take the form that the DMV would take, that's the pre-printed DMV form about your gender designation change. Even after telling me they would take it, they wouldn't take it. So I was like, well, what the fuck do I even need a birth certificate for? So the only thing I could think of to use a birth certificate for, if you really need it, is your fucking passport, right? Other than that, what purpose is there to update your birth certificate just to say you did it and just to have it? Let me tell you girls, if you already have a valid passport, you don't need to update your fucking birth certificate. You don't need it. All you need to do is, and this is the last thing I just did, is I'm going off the top of my head with all this, so I can start rambling. All you need to do is they actually have a form on the United States passport website, and this works for you. I don't know about other countries, but from the United States, they have a pre-printed out template of a form that you need to take to your doctor that's basically stating the same thing as that DMV form, but they want it different because they want it on company letterhead for the doctor's office. They want it all their way. Okay, fine, whatever. It doesn't need to be done by a psychiatrist. It can be done by an endocrinologist. And this is going to be the same for any place, regardless of the state that you live in, if you live in the United States, because it's for the United States government. You take that in there, you can have it done by your endocrinologist. I just dropped it off and they did it for me and called me when it was ready. So I didn't have to like make another appointment or anything. Went down there, I picked it up. I used my old passport with my old picture and everything. I used that for my identification since I didn't have a birth certificate. I filled out the forms that they had. I included my name change form. They didn't need my old name change form from 16 years ago because they already used that when I got my current passport. They already used that to differentiate the name from my birth certificate to what my name was at the time. And they didn't seem to care that there was no middle name on there, unlike the fine state of California. So you take all that down there with your little picture, you pay the money, and the United States government does not care if you update your birth certificate, and they'll still issue you a passport, even if you already have a passport you can use as your ID. If it's your first time getting a passport, it's obviously going to be different. But girls, let me tell you, if you're transitioning later in life, or you could be younger, I'm pretty sure my son already has a passport that his other mom got him when he went out of the country. So if you already have a passport, and you go through all this, you don't need to update your birth certificate. You just need to update your stuff with the DMV. Because that was one of the things I needed, my new ID with matching name and gender designation. And they will get all of that updated for you. Now, if you really want to, just to have it, I don't really see a point of what I need a birth certificate for. I mean, just to have it. Who fucking cares? My ID's updated, my passport's updated, Social Security is updated. Who fucking cares about the rest, right? Other than that, if you have any questions about anything I asked, because this video is getting kind of long, I could probably keep going about this, but I don't want to keep going about this. I hope this helped at least a couple of you. I know this wasn't a sexy video, but when I started this, I had the hope that if I can help just one person, then I feel like I've helped somebody, and that makes me happy. I just want to help someone in their transition the way I was helped in my transition. So I hope this helps at least one of you. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I promise you the next videos are going to be sexier. I've got some Gymshark stuff coming from the new release. I'm going to be going on vacation to Canada, like I said, to visit my friends. So there's going to be some travel vlogs, and they'll probably hate me for filming while I'm there, but whatever. I love all of you. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will talk to you all on Monday. Bye, loves.